as we said before, that a relative clause is a sentence which gives information about what? About a noun. A sentence which gives information about a noun. There are two types of relative clauses. في عنا نوعين من هدول الجمل اللي بتعطي معلومات عن الاسم. The first one is defining. The second type is non-defining. So we have two types. Defining, non-defining. What do we mean by defining relative clauses? Actually, defining relative clauses have some characteristics. شو خصائصها ال defining relative clauses؟ أول إشي it gives relevant information. What do you mean by relevant? Important information. So defining relative clauses give relevant information, give important or essential information. But non-defining relative clauses give extra information, يعني not important information. So defining gives important information, non-defining gives not important information or extra زيادة معلومات زيادة. طيب defining relative clauses, if you delete a relative clause, defining relative clause from a sentence, the meaning changes. ليش المعنى بتغير؟ Because it's important information. So if you take off, إذا حذفنا defining relative clause from a sentence, if we omit it from a sentence, the meaning changes. طب what about the non-defining? Because it's extra information, not important information, so the meaning does not change. Defining relative clauses, in defining relative clauses, you can use that instead of who. يعني بحكي the man who or the man that. It's okay to say who or that for humans. So the man who or the man that, it's okay to say that or who in defining relative clauses. But in non-defining clauses, you cannot use that instead of who. ما بقدر أحكي the man that. لازم أحكي the man who if it is non-defining relative clause. طب كيف أميز بالشكل that this is defining or non-defining? In non-defining relative clauses, we have commas around the relative clause. عندي فواصل على relative clause. وين؟ بالnon-defining. طب what about defining? No, we don't have commas. So again, what are the differences between defining relative clause and non-defining? Defining gives important information. In non-defining, extra information, not important. In defining, if you delete the relative clause, the meaning changes. In non-defining, if you delete it, the meaning does not change. In defining, you can use that instead of who. In non-defining, you cannot use that instead of who. In non-defining, we have commas, but in defining, we don't have commas. I'll show you in examples how. So, check the example. The girl who or that you saw yesterday is my sister. First of all, where is the noun we are talking about? It is the girl. Where is the relative pronoun? وين اسم الوصل موجود؟ ضمير الوصل. It is who or that is relative pronoun. طب where is the relative clause? الجملة كلها وينها؟ It is who or that you saw yesterday. هاي الجملة كلها بسميها relative clause. Why it is relative clause؟ نتذكر because it contains relative pronoun. Where is the relative pronoun? Who or that. طيب the relative clause talks about who. عن مين عم بيحكي هذا relative clause؟ عم بيعطينا information about who. The girl, the noun. طيب is this defining or non-defining? It is defining relative clause. كيف عرفت؟ أول إشي do we have commas؟ عندي فواصل؟ No, I don't have commas. Can we use that instead of who? Yes. Does this important information, essential information? Yes. So this is defining relative clause because it's important information, because we use who and that, and because we don't have commas. Following example. The girl, comma, who you saw yesterday, comma, is my sister. Where is the noun? The girl. Where is the relative pronoun? الضمير وين الضمير؟ Who. Where is the relative clause؟ الجملة كاملة وينها؟ who you saw yesterday. Is this defining or non-defining? تعالوا نشوف. Do we have commas? Yes, we have commas. So this is non-defining relative clause. Can we use that بدل who استخدم that? No, we can't because it's non-defining. طب تعالوا نحذف الكلوز كله. The girl is my sister. Does the meaning change? Actually, no. This is extra information. This is why it is non-defining relative clause. Why؟ تعالوا نعيد ليش هو non-defining. أول إشي we have commas. عندي فواصل. And we cannot use that instead of who. ما بقدر أحط that you saw. I can't say this. And it's extra information. And if we delete it, if we omit it, if we remove it, the meaning does not change.